All right, cool. Speaking of the Houston Rockets, they've been rolling, man. They have not lost a game since Chris Paul has come back. The best thing that happened to them was Chris Paul getting hurt.
Definitely, because again, it allowed Chris Paul to sit down and say, "Oh, I only got to do this, this, and this. Yeah. Let me not come in not doing the most. I gotta do this, and I'm still gonna get the accolades. You still gonna get all the accolades." If they top 3 in the East, you got to have at least 2 All-Stars. He'll be an All-Star. And also, the main thing that I said is that, again, going back to last episode, I was thinking about this earlier. You said you think James Harden is a top 50 passer of all time, right?
I do. I genuinely think he's a top 50 passer.
You think Chris Paul is a top 50 passer of all time, right? You got 2 of the top 50 passers of all time on one team.
Yeah, but you also have 2 of the top 50 passers of all time on one team. And both of them are terrible when it matters in the playoffs.
What has been my
wait. I'm not even going to talk for long. What has been my main criticism of Chris Paul and James Harden for their careers? Playoffs. Period. James Harden is a bona fide Hall of Famer right now. But James Harden puts himself into a top 50 of all time conversation, making it to another championship on his own. Period.
Oh, if he makes it to a championship on his own,
that's what I'm saying. He's legitimately. You could even, if you want to argue me top 30, I'm not even mad at you at that. So, even Chris Paul, after he makes it to a conference finals, you want to put him in your top 5 point guard conversations, top 5 whatever all-time conversations, I don't care. But until he makes it to the conference finals, and until Harden steps up in a big game versus a big-time team and plays big time like he plays during the regular season, I'm not going to believe in them. But is that not what I've always been saying? And I didn't think it would work for chemistry reasons, but like you said, Chris Paul had to sit on the bench. So he had to learn, like, damn, I can't come in. And even when I was watching the Rockets versus the Utah game, the announcers were talking about how when Chris Paul was in the game and when James Harden was out of the game, specifically speaking to your space and pace, talking about blitzing all game, when they were playing against Utah, which has a good defense, even the announcers pointed out how there would be possession where Chris Paul would walk up the floor and turn into old Clippers Chris Paul, dribble the ball around. Everybody's like, all right, waiting to get the ball for a 3. All right, waiting to get the ball for a 3. All right, waiting to get the ball for a 3. And then he would take some mid-range shot, which he was actually making them that game because he had an amazing game that game. But he was making them that game. But those guys are standing around waiting for 3s. That was the same recipe that they had with Harden when he ran out of gas. Now, Harden being there is going to open that up. But Chris Paul, even still, has some more learning to do with this team.
But listen,
he has a lot more learning to do with this team.
Again, that's why I like that for in the playoffs, because when the game slows down and you need somebody to do, they literally took no mid-range shots. None.
Yes.
When the game
that they have always, they've either been first or second in the NBA for the past 5 years in terms of shooting threes, but they have been either last or second to last in terms of mid-range field goal attempts. Go ahead.
In the playoff series, you have to take. You're not gonna be able to get all the way to the rim every time, and you're not gonna be able to shoot a 3 every time. You have to have somebody to work that mid-range area when the game slows up. And I think Chris Paul can consistently steady the game, and also Chris Paul does not turn the ball over. When Chris Paul turns the ball over or makes a bad pass, I'm dead ass surprised. I'm literally surprised. And Harden has a tendency to turn the fucking ball over entirely too much, which is why in the playoffs his turnovers always go up because the game slows up.
But he also has the ball in his hands all the time, but he doesn't have to.
You take the ball out the man's hand. Also, Harden, you work off ball. Let's get you an easy bucket. Nobody could get Harden a bucket before.
I don't necessarily even know with seeing Chris Paul and Harden play together if Chris Paul is generating I think Chris Paul generates easier buckets for everybody else, but James Harden still, at the end of the day, always does what James Harden does, which is shake and bake motherfuckers and shoot deep threes.
He does.
So,
but still, again, when the game slows down, you have somebody to offset that, which matters a lot and which I think will help a lot. So I'm telling you, there's no reason, again, which is why I am excited for this playoffs. Do I think any of these people can beat the Warriors? Hell the fuck no. But there is no reason I can't see some goddamn resistance. Gee.
The Rockets are still a first or a second round exit. And you CP3 fans watching our YouTube videos, guess what? I don't care how you feel about me. I don't care. Until Chris Paul shows up and wins a fucking second round, I don't care. Stop talking to me about Chris Paul. Even you watching this video on YouTube, I don't care how you feel about the way I feel about Chris Paul. Tell Chris Paul to make it to a second round. Period. I mean, make it past the second round, not to a second round. Make it past the second round. Because he's only made it to the second round. The man can't even get to 4th place. But don't worry. We'll see. The Rockets got a nice schedule coming up.
They do have a nice schedule coming up.
The Rockets have a very nice schedule coming up.
They haven't beaten anybody yet. They really haven't beaten damn near anybody. They do have a nice schedule coming up. I'm very interested to see what they can do through this stretch. This is the stretch where they'll tell me, like, all right. But I think they're good.
The Rockets are about to play LA, Utah again. I'm sorry, not LA, Utah. They're about to play Portland, New Orleans, Charlotte, San Antonio, the Bucks, Utah, LA, Oklahoma City, Boston, Washington, and then the Lakers again before the new year. Then after the new year, Orlando, Golden State, Detroit, Chicago, Portland, Phoenix, LA. It kind of gets a little vanilla again. But in their next 10 games, they are going to go up against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to go up against 7. They're going to go up against 8 playoff teams in both conferences. So we'll see how they start to look. Especially they're going to play against the Spurs defense, against the Bucks defense, against Utah's defense. Utah's problem is that they can't score points. So Utah couldn't keep up in terms of the pace with them. The announcer said Utah has to keep the Rockets near 100 points. It's not happening. Because Utah can only score 100 points. Yeah. So, but Utah's defense is still going to show. And they also still play Oklahoma City on Christmas Day. So, everybody's been waiting for Oklahoma City to turn it around. So, we'll see about that. But, anyway, speaking of Oklahoma City, let's actually go ahead and let's move on. And let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. They continue to be the most head-scratching team in the NBA. The Clippers are only 2 games behind the Thunder.
Let me hit my homie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Actually, no. Let's talk about the Clippers because I forgot. We got a call-in guest today. But yeah, just let me know when you're ready for him to call in, and then we can just plug that up. But actually, let's talk about the Clippers, okay? All right.